Peace and power, everyone. Nubian Divine, Nubian Newz with Izzy. Saru beats in the background, giving him his props. You know I like this beat. So much stuff going on in the world. You sit back and you look at all of it and you're like, what can I do? You hear things happening here, happening there. All we can do right now is focus on ourselves and will the best. And so many people have given up hope. There's just like a big shaking in the vibration that's going on. But you don't have to give up hope. Just what were you put here to do? Maybe it's time to tell your story. For a long, long time, I wouldn't necessarily tell my story because I was ashamed of my story, I guess. But then I learned that I don't have to be ashamed of my story. My story is my greatest asset. Just as your story is your greatest asset. So you don't have to be ashamed of your story. Your story can help someone. So my story started when I was about 8 years old. If you guys see all the pictures everywhere, little girl with the light. I had this dream, and I was 8 years old. I was picked on like by the little neighborhood kids. My sisters were friends with them. They wouldn't really play with me too much. So I would go sit in the closet and like cry and stuff. Feel sorry for myself. And I watched the movie Jesus before, and I started crying and like fell asleep in the closet. And then I ended up having this dream state that I fell into, and then I looked up and I saw Jesus, which is like a blonde hair, blue-eyed, what everyone knows is a blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus. And I know people say that he doesn't exist, but he does. He's a deity. He exists. I saw him myself. So I bear witness to that. What I do want to share is my dream that I had. I was an 8-year-old little girl. I lived in Florida, grew up in Florida. And I was taken into this dream when I saw Jesus, or what we know to be the blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus. And he took me to this place through the clouds. It was like this big mist and stuff like that. And we were going like really super fast. It was like we're almost like falling through some type of portal. And then we ended up over some waters. It was like a large body of waters, and it was like this beautiful landscape to the right. And then in front of me was this bridge. It was this huge bridge, what I know now to be the San Francisco Bridge. Now, mind you, I was an 8-year-old little girl, grew up in Florida, never been to California in my life, even though we did move there eventually. But that's what started my journey, was having the dream about this bridge. And when Jesus was like, you know, what do you see? And I told him what I saw, and then he said, look again. It was just like land, like, it wasn't land, it was water, and it was a bridge, a San Francisco Bay Bridge. And it was also, the waters are calm, and then to the right was just, you know, the houses and the beautiful landscaping in the background. And then all of a sudden, he said, what do you see now? And I was like, I see, then I looked up and I saw the Golden Gate Bridge. It was like it was like shaking, like it was falling, and there were people on the bridge, and they were running, and they were screaming for help, and there was like this guy, and this lady was like stuck in her seatbelt. Well, she got out of her seatbelt, but her child was, and she started screaming for the husband, and he saw the bridge falling, and he just took off running. It was like a Caucasian couple in the dream. And it was interesting because the bridge began to fall and everyone was running, and I saw the land around it shaking, and it was a huge earthquake that like no one was escaped from this bridge. There was no way to like save their lives. And I had this dream as an 8-year-old little girl, and I didn't know what San Francisco was or California was, because we didn't move to California until like 88. And I believe that was like a third grade, and this dream happened like in the second grade or something like that. So, make a long story short, now I'm seeing like movie, like, like Aftershock, or people post videos about this earthquake that's going to transpire in San Francisco, California. And I want to share my dream, because what if I am supposed to share my dream instead of me stay quiet about it? Because I used to be ashamed to tell it, because I used to share it with people when I was a little girl, and they used to make fun of me, like, girl, you don't know what you're talking about. And I couldn't explain with the location of the bridge. I just know I saw a bridge, but I know it now to be the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. But as a little girl, I was just describing this bridge. But either way it goes, no one too much believed me. It's like I had these psychic abilities where I would be able to see things in the future that was going to happen. So I just find it interesting now how it's literally, posted all over the internet about people having prophecies and dreams. So I want to share that, and maybe that will help someone, make a decision for themselves and for their family. And I feel better that I was able to share my dream, because that started me on my journey to, even Los Angeles. When I lived in LA, it was like, there's like this big feeling like to leave Los Angeles, like get out of LA. Like even when we moved from Florida to Los Angeles, we met this lady on the bus. Her name was Warnella. And we used to joke about it and say her name meant warn everyone leave LA. And now I'm older, I look back at these things and I'm just like, okay, these are like synchronicities, like not trying to put out like fear base out there, but I do believe that I do have a calling, and I do believe that I have a gift, and I want to begin to share my gift more. And that is in this prophetic vision that I had as an 8-year-old little girl, that the San Francisco Bay Area is going to have a major earthquake along the West Coast. And I just saw San Francisco in my dream. I can't speak for any other areas along the West Coast, but it's still a huge connection with that type of earthquake that will take out an entire Golden Gate Bridge there. So there will be a lot of places that will feel that. Like it definitely will be Los Angeles area and the Washington State area, Oregon area. They may feel it as far as Arizona. I don't know, what this is. I just can explain my dream. So just be mindful of, your plans. If you have family, make sure that you're able to have a plan A or plan B, or evacuation, or if you can't get to each other, things of that nature is probably important to start considering those things now. So I just wanted to give everyone a heads up on just, how this is interesting, because everyone's into this big argument so much about if, Jesus is real or if he's not real. But what I think it's interesting is that besides all the semantics, there are people that are here that have special gifts. Remember, even though we know that the Bible is coded in a certain code, that people still, their words have energy and power. So imagine all the people that have spoken those words over all those years throughout the different Bible, or verses and things that have been spoken about things that are to come and things that are to happen, especially within, the book of Revelations, let's say in the Bible. So even though I'm not into so much religion anymore, even though I did grow up as a Christian as a little girl, I'm not into religion anymore. And that's how I watched the movie Jesus, because my family, their whole entire life was like Christians, and I wanted to follow my own path, my own journey. And I just basically came to a point of just spirituality, and that's where I'm comfortable at. And it's not about my religion, but it's about, so much as me using my gift and my calling as to what I know to be true in my heart. And that is to just sound the trumpet, sound the alarm to, there's different things coming all over. But the main thing is, how are you treating people? How are you treating yourself? So how are you taking care of your body, even, what foods you're putting into your body? So those are some things to even consider during these times. And are you exercising yourself? Are you moving around? Do you have an evacuation plan? So start considering those things, because it's not just, earthquakes. It's, different things that we should just be prepared for anyways, that we've just gotten kind of lazy here in America because of all the phones and games and just time-wasting practices that, we were kind of spoiled with growing up. But the children overseas, I can assure you, they're prepared, and there's just things that we need to be mindful of, especially in the times. If you're feeling the energetic vibrations, there's a lot of things that are happening right now as well that has to do with, just you and your family, generational bloodline, karmic things that have come to, just its own time to, to face it and to deal with it. But other than that, this is more about the earthquake in San Francisco that I want to share with everyone. So, Nubian Divine, that is my prophetic dream about the San Francisco Bay Area major earthquake that is coming up for that area. I'm so sorry to have to report this type of news, but at the same time, I just don't want to feel responsible. If there is someone that I can reach that will listen to this message, because of course, just like I guess Jesus in the Bible, even when he tried to warn his own family, no one listened to him. But, so put yourself in my shoes. Regardless, it's not about the religion, it's about the message at the end of the day. So be careful out there, guys. Love you very much. Nubian Divine, Nubian Newz with a Z. Have a great day. Be safe.